Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bunk and Pick podcast, the long-awaited return of the duo today. Bunk, say hello to the people.
Hello everyone, this is
What the
Bunko!
hell is no. How long were you preparing this all day?
I was working
right now.
I was working on that. That was working on that one.
Look at how giddy you are.
I know.
About this.
I know. I love playing with the buttons, man. This is my favorite thing of all time. I love it. Hey, we got a.
Looks very great.
I know. I always like to mess with you the whole time. Every time I got to come up with something new. That's pretty impressive, though. I've come up with a lot of new crap since we've been doing this.
You really have.
I know. I know. I got to keep the fire burning. Hey.
Well, Bunk, we got somebody with us today. Who's with us?
We got the big one, the giant one. We got Big G.
Oh, Jesus. Hello.
What are you, Seinfeld? The guy, hello.
Hello.
The giant one.
The giant one.
I like that.
Gigantor. Oh, man. We have Big G here. He's our hockey guy. We're going to talk some hockey later.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us, Big G. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot of really fun takes about college football. I've got a really fun segment for you when we get there, Big G, in college football,
like
so I'm very excited for that.
I like the preparation. We got the Chipmunk's voice. We got
Chipmunk's voice. A segment.
We're segmenting you in. Pucks will fly, sir. Pucks will fly.
Is that a saying?
I don't know.
It is now.
It is now.
All right,
beware the fly.
We've been gone for 2 weeks. We got to keep this on the rails at least a little bit here. One thing we didn't get to touch, so we were on a 2-day hiatus. There were some family things that came up.
2 weeks, 2 weeks, Pick, 2 weeks.
2 months, 2 weeks. Oh, I'm sorry.
Jesus.
2 week hiatus.
Okay.
Some family things came up that Bunk did an awesome job and released about a 3-minute episode last week. Just going over it, but just out of remembrance, and because we're recording this on Veterans Day, thank you so much for everybody that did serve. That includes Big G here and old Bevo as well as the late great Joe Amato. So I know he's up there looking down and listening, probably laughing at us right now for sure. So
I actually,
Big Skook.
I know some shit that old Skook used to say to me when I was playing sports. Couple of my favorites that stand out were, for 12 years, hearing him yell from right field line, "Swing the frigging bat." Okay.
Oh,
Thanks, Pop. Thanks,
I got
Pop.
that
I know.
one. Definitely got that one as well.
My other one was senior year in high school. First time I ever played a skill position in high school. Scored, I think I had a couple touchdowns. The only shit he had to say to me after the game was, "Why are you not wearing tall socks? You have no ankle support."
And the worst part, Greg, is I had to stand right next to him while he asked me the whole time, "Why the hell is he doing it? What's going on with him? Why is it?" Dad, I don't know. He's playing sports. I don't know. He was unique. He was unique, man.
He was absolutely unique. And I'm sure I want to try to get everybody together closer to when we do the big memorial forum. Maybe we can get everybody just to share some stories. We'll get some guest speakers. I know Boomer had a lot of great interactions. Man, Big Skook did not like when Boomer missed field goals.
Woo!
He let us all hear about it. So
no, there was he didn't have a lot of room for errors. That
0 errors.
He had
allowed.
no patience.
From a man that sewed his knee back together with fishing wire.
Oh, my God. No kidding, man. No kidding.
Well, the segue here, Skook's favorite baseball team, as well as Bunk's favorite baseball team, was those New York Yankees.
They were.
So, Bunk over there, what happened in that World Series, my friend?
I'm going to call that what we call a massive failure. I will say...
Yes.
I am a diehard Yankee fan. They absolutely, positively did not deserve to win that game, any of those games. They did not play well. Even the last game, when it looked like they may win, you can't make you can't make mistakes like that in the World Series. I got to hand it to the Dodgers, man. They played full out 100% baseball every single play. They didn't take a play off. They didn't jog. They didn't do any of that. So, hey, you know what? They deserved everything they got. I guess, we'll see what we got next year. See who can sign. We're losing a lot of. I'm part of the organization, FYI.
I didn't know you were part of the front office now.
But we're losing a lot of the relievers or free agents. Of course, Soto's a free agent. They're not re-signing Rizzo, and I love Rizzo, but I think he's, maybe he can go back. It'd be great if he go back to the Cubs to retire. I think that would be kind of good for him, but he's kind of lost
off on us.
He just, he lost. The thing that just surprised me the most, his strength was defense, and he sucked this year on defense. I mean, he was not the same guy for whatever reason, injuries.
Battled a lot of injuries.
It was, but that was what he's known for, and he just didn't do it. But so there's always next year, my friend. We always got to come back next year. I got to say this. I'm going to say this right here. I love Soto on the team. But I don't see them spend $650 million on him, man. You can get a whole bunch of other players. He's a great hitter. Personally, I thought he kind of sucked in the outfield. And he's a great guy. And I hope he gets what he asked for. He's asking. But I honestly kind of hope the Yankees don't sign him. I think they're going to obviously try, but we'll see.
He's asking for $700. It ain't happening.
He is asking for $700.
He is not Shohei Ohtani.
That's
the benchmark at $700.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean, he's a young dude, so he's got a lot of time left. But you can sign a lot of guys for $600 million, man.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be honest. Ohtani might have been able to ask for a hell of a lot more if he played at Yankee Stadium every day, because he would have been 60 and 60, probably more, no problem if he was playing for the Yankees, because Jesus Christ, some of those pokes that were routine fly balls. I forget how small Yankee Stadium is in right field.
Oh, tiny.
Ohtani would have had 65, no problem.
He's not a pure pull hitter though. He is a left center hitter. So I don't know if I fully agree with that, because the longest part of the field's out there by the monuments. Now, he is an amazing hitter. He would hit a crap ton of home runs and still
LA
steal
is
a crap
big.
ton.
Yeah.
LA is big. He's amazing. He's worth every dollar that team is
100%.
paying him.
I will agree with Bunk on that. The Dodgers looked, even Shohei wasn't hitting great throughout the series. Mookie Betts not really hitting great throughout the series, but it didn't matter. There was never a time where they looked like they were taking a playoff. They really looked nuts. What's funny? I saw a post somewhere where it was just a kind of a little bit of a scouting thing on the Yankees, and it was what the Dodgers had, and it was absolutely correct. Number one, they suck on the base pass, and God forbid they're horrible base runners. The other thing was they take plays off. Run everything out. And all the stuff that they said, you're not going to win a championship that way. And I don't know.
You want to epitomize that?
What's that?
Garrett Cole not running first base.
Oh, God, I know, man.
That was it. It was over, right?
Yeah.
They would have still been winning and handily winning that game if he just ran to first base, and he didn't.
Yeah, because that was the third out with no runs scored. After that, it was they scored 5. Once they scored the 5, I knew it was over. So, you know what? Hey, hats off to the Dodgers. They definitely had the best team, but God, they are loaded, and they're looking at. I don't know why they would want to sign Soto. To be honest with you, they have a great team. They have great chemistry, but he's going to get a freaking monster contract somewhere. And good for him. If it's the Yankees, great. I'm happy to be there, but. They have other needs. They need a third baseman. They need a first baseman. They need pitching. They need a lot of stuff.
Go get Willie Adames.
Is Chisholm
and move around the infield?
They got rid of Chisholm?
No, Chisholm still has. When they picked him up, he still has another year left on his contract. So he's back. I think
he looked good.
He was all hustle. Put him in the outfield.
He looked good
in the outfield.
He looked good, but he made some great plays at third base.
He did. I think they're talking about moving him to second, because I don't know if they're going to re-sign Gleyber Torres. If they don't, they can move him to second, pick up one of the third basemen, or they have a little bit of flexibility. They have to have a first baseman now that can hit. I mean, that's first base. They were really, really bad numbers this year. And then the Martian's going to be playing next year. God forbid. I love that dude, but he is absolutely horrific in the outfield. He needs a lot of work. God.
You're going to have to choose between him and Giancarlo. I can't run full speed or I'll break every bone in my body.
But Giancarlo was a monster in the playoffs hitting, man. You got to give him that.
He looked like he had
running
1980s hydraulic legs.
He had mafia cement boots.
That was actually disturbing to see a professional athlete not be able to run. It looked like he didn't know how to run.
Well, they said he can't run full speed because they tell him not to because they don't want him to get hurt. And he's only like 30-something years old. It's not like he's an old freaking 50-year-old guy. That was brutal. But I you know what? You got to give him. He really knocked the crap out of the ball in the playoffs. He did a good job. So, hey, there's always next year for our teams, gentlemen.
There is. Okay.
He was slower than Bartolo Colon.
He is. All right, he is slow, man. I mean, I don't know what to say. That's why he hit a lot of home runs. That was great.
Man, that was rough to watch.
It was.
All right. Some quick news, baseball news before we move on. Boone is going to join the crew going to pitch to Soto. So they're pushing really hard to bring Juan Soto in. With Scott Boras being the agent and how they just kind of shafted Garrett Cole, I don't think he's going to bend on the number too much, so they're going to have to pony up a ton of money. The A's made a trade, and how lucky is this guy? Second baseman moves from the A's to the Braves, so from one of the worst teams in baseball to be contender next year. So he's a happy camper for sure. And the Marlins hired McCullough as the manager.
Yeah, I saw that. Which is
kind of out of left field. I didn't think. I know that staff is good. The coaching staff is good for LA, but a lot of that is Dave Roberts and their pitching, right? So first base coach, we'll see how it works out. They made some base running errors, quite a few actually through the playoffs.
Yeah, that's weird. That was a weird hire. That was kind of a strange. I mean,
about him going there.
I agree. The other news is they did announce all the finalists for the awards. So the NL MVP is it's Lindor from the Mets, Ketel Marte, and Shohei.
Ketel Marte.
The Kettler.
The kettle chip.
You know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because the other one's Shohei Ohtani, and he basically won it. So we'll just move on from there. The AL is Aaron Judge, who will win it, Juan Soto, and then Bobby Witt Jr. So that's going to be Judge without a chance. Now, here's one, the NL Cy Young. Chris Sale, Paul Skeens, and Skeens. How do you say it? How do you say it, Pick?
Skeens.
The Skeener. And Zach Wheeler. That's a tough one. I don't see. I that's got to be maybe Chris Sale in that one.
I think Chris Sale wins it.
Yeah,
he quietly had an amazing year this year.
I agree. And then on the AL Cy Young, it's Emmanuel Clase. Did I say that right? Hey.
Yeah, Clase, but
Seth Lugo.
Playoffs, I don't know.
No, Seth Lugo. And then I think who should win it is Skubal from the Tigers.
Tarek Skubal should absolutely win that.
Yeah, he had an absolute
without a doubt.
He had a great year. And then the NL Rookie of the Year is the Jacksons. We got Churio, Merrill, and Skeens. And I think that's going to go to Churio maybe. I think it's going to be between him and Merrill.
He had a pretty damn good year this year. Jackson Churio.
Paul Skeens did great, but he didn't play the full year, and I don't know.
No.
I mean, to me.
Yeah, it's Churio. In my eyes, it's Churio.
I think so. Now, here's the surprise, right? In the AL Rookie of the Year, Colton Cowser, Luis Guille from the Yankees, and Austin Wells. Now, Austin Wells had a good year for part of the year. I think it's going to go to Gill. Or Guille. I got to pronounce that. Guille. I got to get that down. Yep, that's my vote. Who do you think? Colton Cowser?
I do think it's the Cowser.
Nah.
He had a monster year.
It's going to be the Gill. Gil Martin. What do you think, Big G? Gilbert?
I I didn't watch enough
Don't
of the
care.
regular season to have any idea.
Doesn't
I would have
care.
picked Skeens for
Skeens.
because I actually watched him pitch a couple times. He's a freak show,
he is dominant, but who knows? And NL Manager of the Year: Mendoza from the Mets, Murphy from the Brewers, and Mike Shield from the Padres.
You give it to Mendoza. You give it to Mendoza.
I think you
What
do.
he did
They
with
weren't.
that team-
They weren't supposed to be there. I agree.
No.
What he did with that team, he should win that.
I agree. And then the AL Manager is AJ Hinch from the Tigers. Cortrado. I like saying these names. Matt Cortrado from the Royals. Stephen Vogt from the Guardians. It's got to be Hinch.
Just
the Hinchler.
Quattro. It's Quattro. Anyways, it's Hinch. What he did with arguably the worst roster in baseball this year was amazing.
I like watching your face when I pronounce them.
They were rough, man.
It's hurting.
Ooh.
It's going to be the Hinch pin.
We got to get you pronouncing some hocky names.
Oh, God.
Oh, please.
God
no.
bless me.
All right, let's do a Patreon video of trying to think of.
God. All right.
My last piece of baseball news comes from the Tampa Bay Rays, and it's not good news.
Oh, I
Our
saw.
old friend Wander Franco,
I saw your boy. He's your
friend.
boy.
Not my boy.
Okay, not your boy.
A friend of the podcast. Not at
Yowzer.
all. This idiot gets in an altercation and pulls guns out in
I know.
the Dominican Republic and gets arrested.
I saw that.
Oh my God! What a nightmare! Tampa
He's a player.
Sunk all their money into him, and then all this crap happened. What a kick to the balls!
The worst part of that is people knew the entire way through. It was just a matter of time till something happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
It's like
Very
Aaron
much so.
Hernandez. People knew the entire way through that something happened.
Oh,
And
yeah.
People just keep their mouth shut. It's so crazy.
As long as you can play, they'll overlook literally everything. But it's,
That Aaron Hernandez docu series they're doing or whatever. Holy crap! Did those actors not even come close to football players?
Yeah, they picked a guy that's like 5'8", and
so bad.
Definitely, he's like a Disney kid trying to throw a baseball. It's no way
I know.
he ever played sports.
Yeah, it's
They
ridiculous.
actually did a reverse and got an uglier human being to play Tim Tebow than what Tim Tebow is. Usually it goes the other way.
Did you? You know what? I hate watching those things. Literally, we've lived through it. I don't need a friggin' documentary to tell me anything more about it. It's a gross story and disgusting, and I can't even bring myself to watch it. So I'm not watching that one.
Yes.
Old school.
Right.
Don't want to watch it.
Well, that segues us into a little bit of.
Actually,
Go ahead.
I had one quick baseball question for you. This is something I've been thinking about since the series ended.
Okay.
With how destroyed Judge was by his goof in center field, do you think? I know he's a phenomenal player. I know
Are
he's
your
a hard
children
worker.
around or something? You said goof.
I was trying to think of another word. He's just like, fuck, I don't even know what to call that. Like, what was he doing?
He was.
I
don't know.
I would have if that was a kid on like Wyatt's team, I would have been like, good try, Johnny. Yeah, I would just been like, whatever, good try. Do you guys think it will affect him? Will he have some sort of yips episode? Because he seemed completely destroyed. I know he'll work hard. Do you think it'll be in the back of his mind, like I choked and lost this, and now he'll have like a yips kind of deal?
You know, I don't, because after that they committed 2 additional friggin' errors. I mean, it wasn't the error. Honestly, that was not the error that did it. I mean, it was contributed, obviously. And then, but
he seemed to take it more personally than everyone else.
Of course, because it was, I mean, let's face it, that one was, it was between that one and the not covering first, for which one was like the easiest of all plays to make. And he struggled hitting. So he's still my boy. But
I think he's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I
think he'll be fine.
I think
he'll be fine.
I think it'll be good.
I think the city loves it. He's at that Derek Jeter level with the city where they're not going to be as hard on him as they are on everybody else.
No,
they will not. So I think he'll be fine. He's not going to hear a ton about it besides maybe national media. Those guys don't pay attention to that shit.
Yeah.
They're playing every single day. They don't care.
I guess the yips thing, it's an internal thing. It's a personal thing. It has no out, like that pitcher that couldn't throw to first base. Do you think he'll have some trigger like where he maybe won't try and run down a fly ball?
Nah,
Like
I don't think
he'll pull up short and shit.
he just took his eye off it. I mean, if you watch the video, he was watching the runner and just took his eye off it. And, yeah, it was kind of a weird. You know what? It wasn't meant to be, man. They made some horrendous plays. Hopefully,
Yes.
I mean, I don't.
Yes.
Who knows?
They need to move him out of center field.
Well, he's not a
They
center
need to
fielder.
find-
They didn't have
he's
anybody
not.
else
He's
to
a
play.
right fielder.
Yeah.
Just find somebody to go play center field.
Agreed. All right.
So.
Now,
Alrighty.
Pick. Hold on now, Pick. Oh, we got to do this the right way, Pick. Ready? We're going to transition.
Okay.
We're going to. Doom, doom, ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom,
We can't hear anything. We just hear you singing.
ba-doom, ba-doom. Okay, I can hear it. I can hear it. We were
Where's the
transitioning.
pontoon pirate
We were
taking us next?
transitioning.
We're so rusty. It's been 2 weeks.
We're transitioning. Hey, I got it on tape and I could hear it. All right, let's go to NCAA college football, as they call it.
Yes. And this is where I want to get quick reaction on this weekend. And really, I guess the past few weekends. But what I really want to do, and I think I did this with Bunk before, but I want to do buy or sell with old Big G here at the end. I want to hear his opinions on a few
I like
things.
it.
So I'd love to kick it to whoever wants to start about these past few weekends. There's been some pretty good games.
What do you think, Big G?
I think this season is proving that the NIL is, I mean, it sucks there are reasons it sucks, but one reason it doesn't suck is the talent is spread around a lot more. And I think it's also showing that there's some coaches out there that can fucking coach in a big game, and they're for smaller schools like the dude at Vandy. And there's some coaches that got big coaching jobs based on probably the previous era where they could, hoard all the good players, and they don't know what the fuck to do when they get in a pinch because they're getting pressed by teams maybe they didn't get pressed by in the past. So, I don't know, dude. You can hit me with your buy or sell thing. There's a lot of things. It's been fun to watch, but there's stuff with the rankings in the playoffs that have been pissing me off for 2 weeks.
Well, we got to say, let's start. So the Texas, our Texas Longhorns, they they destroyed Florida. I know Florida's not good, but Jesus,
Florida's defense wasn't bad though.
And the score was 49-17, but in all honesty, it was not 7. I mean, they gave up to 17 points with second and third string guys in. So that was a great win, I think, for Texas. And then and they played well. Yeah, Ewers did really well.
You guys, and Nick knows this. He thinks I'm a doomer about Texas. I'm not. I'm a realist. Ewers underthrowing every fucking receiver was pissing me off. I know he still completed touchdowns, but he was underthrowing wide open receivers.
In this last game?
Yes. I can't remember. He threw.
Oh my God.
So the one guy ran a flag route. And he had to stop to catch the ball. He's wide ass open. Underthrew him. The best touchdown completion that Ewers threw was to the tight end over the middle. Timing wise, perfect. The long balls that Ewers was throwing, he was underthrowing. And go back. I'm telling you right now that if one of those DBs, if a corner was hanging with those receivers, yes, they were probably had 2 steps on them. But Ewers would have thrown that into coverage. He would have thrown it so the DB could make a play. I watched the touchdowns. It was pissing me off. He was underthrowing receivers that were wide ass open. It didn't seem like it because they were so grotesquely open, but he was underthrowing dudes.
Pick's not
and
happy.
I can't. No, I know Nick. Well, Nick doesn't ever agree with me on this because I have a very critical eye.
Oh.
I don't know how to. Yeah. Pickett's just a burnt orange homer. I have
No,
a
I'm
very
not.
critical eye.
I'm not.
The critical
I'm not.
eye.
But
Ewers
yeah,
was.
if you go back and watch, Ewers underthrew deep balls all day.
Did you go back and watch it?
Yeah, I watched. Not only did I watch the entire game, but I watched all the highlights. And people really like even Booger McFarland, who usually he's a goofball and he comes up with some shit that I agree with. But he was like, Ewers was playing. I was like, Ewers played fine. He played fine.
Ewers played amazing.
He underthrew wide
Wow.
open receivers.
I like
Go
it.
back
Okay,
and watch the game.
I've watched the game twice, start to finish twice already. He
Yeah.
played very well.
He made the
Here's
right
what
reads. He played well. He underthrew.
Here's
That's
what he
all.
needs to work on. When he has
Throwing the
time in
ball
the
farther.
pocket, when he has time in the pocket, he needs to stop throwing off his back foot. He needs to step into throws.
But that's why he
has-
underthrew those guys on the long balls. Yeah. He
Yeah,
has
they
like an
weren't,
almost lazy motion.
He's also got 3 receivers that are sub 4.3 runners sprinting. It's hard to hit that every time.
It is not because
It
you
is.
can't. Not when a receiver can outrun your arm. Then you just give it. You just let it rip. But he was like you're saying. He does throw off his back foot a lot.
He does throw off his back
And
foot a lot.
When those guys are open, he throws off. He underthrew him. Go back and watch. I mean, watch the touchdowns. I'm not saying it's drastic. It's not like the guys had to completely stop or come back to the ball. But had they been covered, the DBs could make a play on it. That would have been a contestable ball every single time. And it did bother me because he had time in the pocket this game. He was still throwing off his back foot. It's a criticism I've had of him for a while. But
Wow.
and the other thing with Texas that irritates the shit out of me is their running plays are long developing. They don't have
Right,
any
'cause they
quick
don't
hitting
have
plays just right up the middle.
They're missing a lot at the running back position at the moment.
I think it's the play design.
It's
Like
not.
if you look, it's like
They're
3
purposely-
seconds.
I understand that, but they're purposely not running between the tackles this year.
Well, you
They
can run
can't.
off. You can run off tackle with. You can hit a C gap in not 4 seconds. They're trying to do too much flash. They need to have more running plays that are just like quick hitters. And
They did.
All
They
of their
did
run.
try to do that, but they did try to do that.
Nick,
They kept
are you going to
handing the
believe
ball.
me or your lying eyes?
No, I'm going to believe my lying eyes because I watched them
They
run
handed
the ball
off.
into the ass of their own offensive line for 2 straight weeks.
I understand.
And then
but
they
I'm-
decided to start doing outside zone scheme, and they started hitting holes and breaking off runs.
no, I'm not.
No, you let me finish over there.
Wow. Folks, we
Where's
have
my
a hornet.
buzzer?
we have some
Play me
hornets
some
going,
music.
folks.
You're
Play
like
me some
Stephen
music we
A.
can't
me
hear.
right now.
Play
Right over
some
me.
music we can't hear. I can hear it.
Me. So here's a wild card for the running game. Jarrett Gibson, the freshman running back, had over 100 yards finally, and he was running between the tackles against Florida. And they were jamming it down Florida's throat at one point, which was awesome to see because growing up in Florida, I had to hear about those Tebow years for a long time, and I hated it. It was awful. So watching that happen was great. And he was doing it against a 6'5", almost 500-pound defensive tackle. They were running through him, which was awesome. Which
Let's have you
that
see that.
dude probably shouldn't be on the field. Like that big, probably shouldn't. That's too big. He was doing 3 plays. He had like 6 plays a quarter. You can't. That's a waste of a scholarship spot to me. Whatever. Texas is going to be just fine, and Ewers is the quarterback. And if you put Arch in, he's just going to try and throw deep balls the whole time.
I'm not
He's
saying
gone.
Arch should replace him. He should have replaced him 3 weeks ago, but I'm not saying replace him now. I'm saying 100%. Whatever Ewers doesn't trust about his game, he's not stepping into long passes. He's leaning on his arm too much, which is fine because like that pass to the tight end, when he hit the tight end over the middle, fire that.
He
I mean,
stepped
that
into
was
that throw.
timing was right.
Yeah.
But he sidearmed it right to him because it was a 10 or 15-yard pass. The deeper
tell you
balls off his back foot, ugly. Doesn't look
I'll
good.
tell
man.
you what's amazing about that one play, that touchdown play to the tight end, is over the past 2 weeks, both teams they played, Georgia, or I guess more than 2 weeks at this point, but Georgia and Vandy, the last 2 games they played, what were the defensive doing? Delayed linebacker blitzes. So Sark finally picked up on that and was running a seam route with the tight end to just in place of where that linebacker's delayed blitzing, and they were hitting it all day. So Florida got really confused and had to figure that out. When they figured that out, everything closed in and Sark started running things to the outside. So I think the play calling was pretty awesome in this last game based off of the games before for sure. I get where you're coming from with yours. He doesn't have as strong arm as Arch. He doesn't.
I'm
But
not even comparing, though.
I think he still gets it to where it needs to be with those guys.
Go back and watch the long touchdown pass. I promise you will see receivers are stopping, and if they were covered, even if they were open by a step or 2 steps, which is open in college football, he's underthrowing them. He's throwing contested balls any other time. And Florida's strength was their front 7, not their secondary. So I don't know. Bunk, come on, tiebreaker. Just tell him.
I don't know, man. I'm going to have to go to the tape. I'm going to the mats on this one, boys. Going to the mats.
Go to the tape.
He plead the fifth. All right. So we got to get off that. There are some pretty big developing storylines in college football. Indiana's one of them. And if Indiana beats Ohio State,
oh, man,
the world is going to burn. It's going to be awesome.
That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. And I think they can. I think
they can.
They don't have the personnel to match, but they do have a better coach with a better scheme, with a better amount of just not giving a shit. They just don't care. They go out and play, which is awesome to see. What are y'all's? I'd love to hear Bunk. Bunk hasn't talked in a while. What's your thoughts?
No, I like Indiana. I was a little surprised they squeezed by Michigan. I thought they'd beat them by a little more. They're 10-0. Shit. What can you say? At this point, that's they've beaten everybody that they've played. I think it's going to be I don't think Ohio State is as strong as they've been in the past. So I think that's actually going to be a really good game. And I hope, honestly, it's nice to see another team up there. I have no problem with that. I'd like to see them beat Ohio State and knock them down, to be honest with you. It's going to be a great game, though. I think it's going to be a good one to watch. The other game that I was fixated on was that Georgia game this last weekend. That was an amazing game. Ole Miss, I got to tell you, man, Ole Miss's defense, dang, they can play. They were friggin' hitting. Holy crap, man. I knew that they had, decent offense, but I was shocked with the defense. Those guys were flying and hitting hard. They dominated Georgia. And it seems like Georgia had gotten up for one game this year, and that was the only game I've seen Georgia play this year where they looked like they used to look and dominating was against Texas. The rest of them, they have not looked that way. And their quarterback is just not. He throws way too many interceptions.
Right. And within that Texas game, that was probably the worst Texas has looked in a very long time, too.
Yeah.
They came out flat as shit. They were slow to start. And it was a wake-up game for Texas, which is good for Texas. But, Ole Miss. Kiffin came out and said, we've been preparing for this game for 1 year.
Yep.
He said, we have been preparing for this game. When you talk about Georgia, talking about quarterback, Big G, holy shit does that guy, what the hell happened to Carson Beck?
I don't know.
I told you guys when we were doing one of the episodes preseason, I told you that Georgia is not that good. Their running game, not that good. Their quarterback, not good. I cannot believe that so-called experts had him as the front runner for the Heisman.
They did.
That is out of control. When he had McConkey, who last year was 100% open every fucking play and pretty much ran under routes. So he was always a great out for Beck if something happened, like check down. And then Bowers, who was open every fucking time and caught everything he threw at him. Beck is not that good.
No, he's just way too many turnovers, man. It's just kind of shocking. I think, sitting at 2 losses, they have a real good shot of getting beat again by Tennessee this week, which I'd love to see. I'd love to see them eliminated and just gone. It's good to see some of the better team. Penn State, they're playing well. The only thing with Penn State is they never win like the big game. They beat
It's like
everybody.
It's the coach.
But they just can't beat they just can't get over the hump of beating the one, or winning the one game they need to win. So, they're good. I think they're a good team. I don't think they'll be in the playoffs, I believe, but I don't think they're going to go very far. I'm kind of looking. I was looking at the list of the rankings. Oregon's just kind of running over everybody, and
They are, but they don't.
they don't play anybody.
They just don't.
No, but you know what?
The rest of the year, they beat Ohio State though.
Yeah, and
They beat Ohio State.
They weren't clicking at the beginning. It took Dylan Gabriel a while to kind of fit in, figure out, his offensive weapons. They look good. He throws the best deep ball in college football, and he figured out his guys. So when they're connecting, Oregon does look good. I don't know that I really know their defense as an absolute freak show, because I don't think Ohio State is as good as everyone's making them out to be.
Their defense is bad. I mean, they gave up 42 points to Ohio State. Their defense is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their defense is not good.
You got even though Will Howard, I don't think is like a monster or anything, but when he has the ability to run, it's like Jalen Milroe. If you don't just account for that, it's easy for guys like that to look like they're destroying you.
I agree. And I think, obviously they'll be in the play. I think the playoffs are going to be good. I think it's going to kind of weed out the teams. They have to, it's not just a win one and move on anymore. So I like that. There's some other teams on here. I mean, hey, look, I'm a big Notre Dame fan, and they're going to be in the playoffs. They are not that strong. I mean, they're 8-1,
crushed,
and they've been in it before, and they get absolutely destroyed. BYU, I mean, they had a scare this last weekend, but they're still 9-0.
I'll tell you what, Utah got robbed. Utah should have won. That was. And did you see the athletic director came out and just destroyed?
He did. He did. He destroyed him.
The best part is that it's the same referee crew that Texas has been bitching about for 10 years, and it screwed him over. It was bad. That was a horrible call.
Oh, I agree.
You know what? It happens, and BYU's through. BYU doesn't really play much the rest of the year.
No,
that's one of my. That's a big question. That's a big question for me. Colorado could beat them, and we could see Colorado in the playoffs.
Good God! I mean, hey, I'm gonna say so. I'll be the first to admit I've been bitching about Colorado, but they still don't. They can't do anything but pass the ball. But I mean, in the Big 12, let's be honest, the Big 12 sucks. Just
really
overall,
bad.
It's really bad this year. I mean, the team. Look at Oklahoma State has got one win or something, one or two, and that's just unusual. Texas Tech, they played this past weekend. It's not great. I don't want to take anything away from Colorado either. They're 7-2, so they're beating everybody they need to beat. I just don't, but I think the reason they're still ranked down there at 18th is I don't think they could compete with the teams above them. To be honest with you,
their offensive line is like bubblegum and paper clips right now. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Picture Colorado playing Ole Miss's defense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just,
and Ole Miss's defense. I know Colorado's receivers are fast, but there is other teams with really fast secondaries that are also 6'2", 220, and those guys coming across the middle with I know they're quick, they got moves, they're not bad by any means, but 3 170-pound receivers get exited from games against a team.
No,
Ole Miss's defense.
I
Texas
agree.
Defense.
Honestly, if you look at SEC teams, South Carolina, I mean these teams, I think they would. I think they would just kill Colorado. I mean, and I do believe that's why Colorado's still ranked as low as they are. But I mean, the Big 12's horrible.
They went out.
Big 12 is freaking horrible.
Colorado wins out, they are in the playoffs.
And I think they play Utah this week. So, but Utah, honestly, I can't remember a time Utah was this bad. They're not good.
This is a very bad Utah team.
It is a bad team. What do you guys think about Miami dropping 8 spots down off of one? They took
good. Honestly, good. Because they didn't play anybody else. They played Florida at the beginning of the year, but we're finding out Florida's hot garbage. They played Florida State, but Florida State is what the hell happened to Florida State? Holy shit.
Yeah, they're bad.
It's like,
Wow.
oh my God.
It's almost impressive to have that bad of a turnaround.
They did play Louisville. Louisville's not horrible. Had
No,
a
they're
bad
pretty
game
good.
against them. They don't play Clemson, so who do they play, right? They don't.
I agree. But that's a pretty. I mean, honest. Well, I mean, Georgia dropped down 9 spots. So,
Georgia, yeah, with 2 losses.
with
though.
2 losses.
So I guess with Miami, them giving them the benefit of doubt, right? They're undefeated, but they've squeaked by. They've had officials blow calls that won them games. Cam Ward has thrown picks in games that he shouldn't have. They haven't looked good in their wins, right? And that, yeah, they lose and they drop them 8. So I have to ask why a team like Indiana isn't getting any credit for the way they have been playing.
They are.
They just now ranked them number 5. Miami's been up there because of a $20 million team, not because of any other thing.
Of course, but that's college football. There's perception in college football. There's perception in college football.
What I'm saying is perception. Preseason rankings, not perception. Preseason rankings ruin teams like Indiana. I know BYU is in the Big 12, which is rough, but undefeated. And you can only do what is put in front of you, right? So how can perception – so you're telling me perception, Alabama should still be number 9 in their 2 losses and looked bad in 2 wins.
They looked amazing this past weekend, though.
Jalen Milroe looked amazing.
They shit all over
somehow
a damn good LSU team.
Somehow LSU didn't think to spy Jalen Milroe and keep him contained.
Yeah, that was a bad game. I mean, LSU. I've never thought LSU was that strong. I mean, and I think they're done now with 3 losses. But I mean that game was over really early, and that was it was gone. I mean, there's 2 I'm looking down there like Army's sitting at 9-0.
They haven't played anybody.
But who's to say? At the beginning of the year, Vanderbilt was a joke.
Yeah, and they've
you
done
can't
good.
say they haven't played anyone because legitimately we don't know any of this shit until teams play head to head.
Right. Okay.
We just don't know.
So Lehigh, FAU, Rice, Temple, Tulsa, UAB, East Carolina, Air Force, North Texas. North Texas is the best team they've played so far. They won 14-3.
I'm saying
the best team.
I'm saying in general, we don't know. Like that's what I'm saying. Indiana, if you're going to go off perception, the Big Ten is pretty clearly, they might be the best conference. We actually won't know until teams start playing each other in the playoff. But everybody's giving the SEC the benefit of the doubt because of the past. SEC, like Tennessee, should have absolutely throttled Alabama, but their quarterback could not hit the deep ball. They would have had 7 touchdowns. There's all these things with the SEC teams that don't look good. Texas still, to me, looks like the most complete, like, solid team, I guess. Their defense looks amazing. That game against Georgia was a one-off fluke, but in all of their other games, they've looked dominant.
Yeah,
they
do. I think the Big Ten. I mean, it's obvious. The Big Ten and the Southeast Conference are just by head and shoulders above. The teams are just when you watch the games, they're just so much more physical than a lot of these other teams, and it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, there's some big games coming up, like we said. I mean, Ohio State's playing Indiana this week. Tennessee's playing Georgia. Not sure who Alabama has left.
They play a junk team.
I think,
they've got their cupcake with Mercer, then they've got Oklahoma and Auburn. So
they're not going to lose.
You know what though? Oklahoma can't score points, but their defense can contain Milroe.
That would be fun to see. That would be fun to see him do that. But boy, Oklahoma's pretty horrific.
Yeah, they have no offense.
Good God,
like Iowa. They're the new Iowa.
I just real quick. I have the Miami and LA game here on TV on the side, and Tua Tagovailoa just threw it into the defensive lineman's face mask.
Oh my God!
I hit him in the face.
Oh, boy.
Gotta love it.
2-6 Miami.
I know. Hey, I got before we jump off of college. Did you see? Kirby Smart's kind of a kind of a dick. I got to be honest with you. Did you see that he had one of his players was he said he was celebrating. Is that it looked like he was celebrating after they got beat, but he just saw like an old friend that he hadn't seen in a long time. Kirby Smart is brutal, though. Holy shit.
Ripped him apart, dude.
Just call him a complete idiot. That's what the words he used.
He called him a complete idiot.
A complete idiot. He's just a complete idiot. Oh, my God.
He's not going to be on the team anymore.
He goes,
Kirby Smart
what an
has
idiot.
exposed himself this year as a moron.
My God.
He is, just brutal, man.
He is, and he's got guys he's got another guy that's have some kind of issues with the law. That program is not where it needs to be. But I was happy to see him get beat. And then just one of my old boy, Jack Del Rio. I like old Jack Del Rio. Used to be the old coach of. Remember, he was the coach of the Jags, I think, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
He was working
some
senior advisor for Wisconsin. Had the old DUI, and he gone. He was out celebrating a little too much this past weekend.
Got in a wreck.
Yeah.
Hit somebody.
What the hell are these guys doing? He's like 60-something years old. Come on, man.
Well, I think Wisconsin is the biggest party school in the country, though.
God.
So he's mixing it in with the co-eds.
Arizona State's definitely the biggest.
All right, but at what point do you not? When you're 60-something, do you stop the partying? I get it that the students party, but come on,
if your
Jack.
whole life has been playing a child sport for millions of dollars, you don't have a stop.
Yeah, I got a point there. All right.
Before we go, I've got some over-unders for Big G.
Give it to Big G. Let's hear him.
I want to hear some outlandish things coming out of his mouth right now, okay?
I'm fired up.
I guess buy and sell, not over-under. Buy and sell. Buy and sell. Buy it means it's going to happen. Sell it means not, right? You get the premise. All right. Buy or sell, ACC gets only one team in the playoff.
Only one.
Only one team in the playoff.
Can I reword that? Sell. ACC gets no teams in the playoff. They're trash.
Well, they're going to get at least one because it's conference champions.
That's not true. It's the 4 highest ranked.
Yeah, they're not.
Army.
They're not.
Army could beat Notre Dame.
Not going to do
Listen, Army could beat Notre Dame. Boise State.
Outlandish.
Boise State
outlandish
wins their
shit that I know is coming. I'm listening.
Here's this. Boise State wins their conference championship.
Okay.
Highest ranked conference. They'll be the 5th one in. Army beats Notre Dame. They're taking a spot that some trash ACC. I mean, Miami's going to lose again because I think a team like this has been waiting to fall apart, and they just fell apart, and it's going to happen again. So who's next? Clemson?
Nope.
SMU.
Friend. And they're really friggin' good.
They're
SMU
really
is
friggin'
good.
They're really good with one loss, and they're 14th because nobody gives a shit about the ACC, and especially won't give SMU any credit, right? SMU and Miami play next weekend?
They will. No, they don't play each other until the championship game. SMU has Boston College, Virginia, California.
You're assuming that Miami gets in.
Yeah, they don't play anyone else. They play Wake Forest and Syracuse.
Okay, that's rough. Syracuse.
Nah,
maybe they can play.
They started out okay.
Lake.
They're not good. They're not good.
Unfortunately,
it's going to be Miami and SMU.
But they're still not one of the highest. They're not going to be one of the top 4 ranked conference champs. Boise State will be.
We'll see. All right. That's your answer.
Wait, are we buying and selling? Is that what we're trying to do?
Good
God.
He sold that even one team would make it. He's saying 0 teams.
He sold it.
From a Power 4 frigate conference.
It's a sell, Jim.
Well, Power 4 is subjective.
Buy or sell. Colorado is the only Big 12 team in the college football playoff.
Oh.
What do you think?
I would buy that.
Oh my God, they're not.
And I'll tell you why. You're assuming they went out, right?
Yeah.
Assuming they went out, that means they beat somebody in the conference championship.
They would beat BYU.
And BYU is only 7 right now. They would absolutely drop BYU out
Oh, they would.
of the top 12.
They
So
it's going to be whoever wins the Big 12 is the only one getting in. This isn't my buy or sell, so I'll let you go, Big G.
You're buying that Colorado wins it.
No. Oh, I thought you said there'll be the only one from the Big 12.
That means they won the Big 12.
Oh, unfortunately, I think they could 100%. Though I think I told you this last weekend. The one thing Colorado has going for them is they build on success. So when something goes right with them, their defense feeds out off something that goes good for the offense. Their offense does not generally, like, if the defense gets a turnover, the offense capitalizes. And I don't think anybody else in the Big 12 can really score with them. I didn't think that at the beginning of the year, but good God, the Big 12 is a
They're
dumpster
bad.
fire.
It's bad.
I don't think BYU could keep up if it's just points.
All right.
Okay.
But I would love to see them get just like smoked by any other team in the playoffs. So.
Well, they will.
They would get trucked. Yeah, they would get trucked.
All right. This is my favorite one because I know it's going to get them good here, Bunk.
All right.
Yes,
buy or sell.
You were
Buy or
underthrows
sell.
people. Oh, okay, sorry.
Buy or sell. 5 SEC teams make the playoff.
They're doing it. You want me to buy this horse shit? I buy that the amount of money that somebody is paying the fucking playoff committee absolutely gets these morons in.
Fuck, I had to do it.
You can't tell me. You look at the rankings right now, and you cannot tell me that this isn't being set up for it to happen. Alabama, 2 losses. Never dropped out of the top.
They never go away. It's the team that never goes away.
Never goes away. They're going to go away. I think Texas handles Alabama. I think Ohio State handles Alabama. Because honestly, I don't think any of the other coaches are dumb enough to not fucking put a spy on Milroe. You contain Milroe. I mean, their secondary is fucking easily. You could blow the lid off their secondary. Tennessee would have had 1,000,000 points if that quarterback could have hit the deep ball. He overthrew everyone. So, yeah. I mean, 1, 2. Oh, yeah. They're going to have 5 fucking teams in there. Well, it's rigged. You can't tell me the eyeball test and wins and.
I think you're right. I mean, if you look at the rankings, I think they got about 5 that are close as it is.
No, but so who went? So Texas and God, who would it even be in the conference championship now?
If Tennessee beats Georgia this weekend, Tennessee will probably win out. Texas wins out. They'll play Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So check this out: Georgia wins. Texas, Georgia rematch. Grant, I'm saying this. Texas has to get by A&M, who's actually
It won't be a Texas Georgia
done.
rematch because of Ole Miss. Ole Miss has to lose one more.
Okay,
Ole Miss just beat Georgia.
They might lose one more. Anyway,
but Alabama beat Ole Miss, so
Georgia,
Alabama.
So Georgia, all they have to do is win out, and they're in with 2 losses and no conference championship. Alabama, all they have to do is win out and not play in a conference championship, and they're in.
But Georgia's going to play Tennessee.
It doesn't matter.
Play Tennessee.
What I'm saying, yeah, I know. I'm saying that Georgia would beat Tennessee, and Tennessee would drop 6 and kick Miami out, and they'd be 12. They're going to fit 5 fucking SEC teams. They just will, because Tennessee would only have 2 losses. So you've got 2 right now. 2 that they were trying to force feed into the playoff have 2 losses, Georgia and Alabama. And they're sitting at 9 and 11.
I like it.
So 100% they're going to force feed us the fucking SEC.
I like it.
And I am Indiana. I am a Hoosier. If Texas fucking gets out, I'm a Hoosier.
I like it.
Here's my last buy or sell. This is a 2-parter. The first part is Indiana buy or sell. Indiana beats Ohio State. The second part is Indiana makes the Big 12 or the Big 10 championship game and beats Oregon to win the Big 10.
Whoa.
2-part.
I say yes to all of the above. I think that
I knew he would.
I know.
I think Indiana's coach is smart enough to see what Oregon did to beat Ohio State. And I'm watching Indiana. I don't know. I hate to use this word. Herb Street says it all the time. Moxie, right? Indiana does not give a fuck. If something doesn't go their way, they don't sit on it. It's over. Offense turns the ball over. Defense doesn't care. Get the ball back. I think they've taken kind of that personality of their coach, right? So I think they'll figure out a way to take out Ohio State. It'll be a close game because Ohio State does have weapons on offense, but I think they can be beat on defense.
I like it. And this, folks, is what we call rolling balls right here.
Rolling balls.
This was a ball roller.
You can't call something well, we're basing this on wins and losses. And also maybe sometimes I think they look good. And also sometimes I rank them way up there at the beginning of the year, so I don't want to look like an asshole and kick them out. Wow. I actually hope A&M rolls everybody except for Texas. But and sneaks
They're pretty
in.
Good. They're actually pretty good.
They're good, man. A&M surprised me this year.
There's a bonus round for you. Travis Hunter wins the
Oh,
Heisman.
God, no. He will. They love him. No. Shouldn't.
Look, let me tell you. When do they
35 minutes in Florida, he was crushing my face with it.
When do they? Well, because I told you guys before, there are hundreds of guys that can play both ways. It's not because there's a reason he went to play for Deion. Because Deion said, I will let you play both ways. It's not because there aren't athletes that couldn't do it. I bet Ashton Genty would be a fucking monster at linebacker if he wanted to be. So, and give me a fucking break. You're wide receiver and a DB. You're not getting hit every play. You're not even running every play, right? Like if it's a run up the middle, that's a playoff for you. Don't give me this horse shit. Ashton Genty is miles ahead of everyone.
He should be.
In the Heisman.
He should be.
And not only that, did you see the interview with him? I love Ashton Genty for this. He said he loves running through people's faces. And I was like, that's the guy. That is the Heisman.
He should. He actually should. He's a phenomenal runner. But yeah. They love these other guys. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
You know what? So go back to the Cincinnati game. Was it Cincinnati? When the tight end for Cincinnati caught the ball in the flat and Travis Hunter tried to tackle him, and the dude picked him up with one arm and then just threw him out of bounds and kept running.
He actually doesn't do it. I will say this. He plays defense. He doesn't actually do much on defense. I mean, he's not like an exceptional defensive guy. He does, but he plays defense. I don't know. I hope he's not in the mix, but he will be in the mix.
He's gonna be. He's number 2 right now. He's gonna be there.
That's.
I don't gonna be there.
I know.
When did they decide on that? It'll be pre-playoff, right?
It's pre-playoff, yeah.
Yeah, the Big 12 dumpster fire, and this guy is on the field a lot. I'm sorry, that's not a Heisman winner.
I like it. I like it.
All right. I had to do it. But I know we need to segue. We're getting
here it is,
long
Nick.
On the hour here.
Buy or sell. Ashton Genty runs through Travis Hunter's face on stage at the Heisman ceremony.
I'd buy that. I'd buy that.
I sell it because he won't do that. But if he could, I bet he would. My favorite Ashton Genty quote is, I like my dreadlocks, and I bet the offensive line that if I didn't run 2,000 yards this year, I'd cut him. And I really don't want to cut him. So.
Wow. He's a beast. I do like him. I like it. All right, hey.
I'm
transitioning us. Hold on. You can't hear it. I'll sing it for you. Okay, we're going.
Wait, if you sing it and you can hear it, then the people listening to the
they can hear
you singing over the song.
Now they can hear it, and I gotta sing with it.
He does it every time.
I know. It's the best part.
It might be the listener's favorite part.
Hey, let's go to National Hockey League. Big G, National Hockey League. What do you got for us?
Hockey League. What do I got for you? All right. So I know you're a Ducks fan. You guys picked. I know you just picked them out of the blue. But what are the chances? The 3 of you. Actually, Bevo picked a team. Who did he pick? The Sharks?
No, Pittsburgh Penguins. They're terrible too.
Okay, they're bad. Yeah, Penguins are 3rd from last in their division. Let's see. Who'd you pick?
Colorado. Colorado's 7-8. They're around 500.
Wait. You snuck your Colorado in there.
No, I was the caller. I wanted to be Minnesota, but I
Okay.
know that you are a Minnesota guy. So
Okay.
I really am a
Well,
Minnesota North Stars because that's the team we saw when we were kids.
yeah.
And they
Dude,
turned into Dallas, but I don't like
dude,
Dallas, so I stayed with the Wild.
The Wild.
in that division, the Jets are crazy
They're
good.
killing everybody.
Winnipeg is nuts right now. And actually, the Wild looks good. And it's also the Flowers last season in the NHL, the goalie, who's a freak show. You should look up some highlights on him. And he's with the Wild. So he's finishing his career with Minnesota. Man, I don't know. Do you know how this works, Spunk, with the points?
I don't.
It's
Nice.
it's just like soccer.
It is, except so you get points for losing in overtime. So if you make it to overtime, the way overtime works in the NHL is you play it's 3-on-3 for a period, and then if you lose in overtime, you get more points, and it's like if you just outright lose.
Oh, okay.
So it's and so points is how, instead of wins and losses, it's points. So technically, a team with more overtime losses like Utah is above the Avalanche right now because the Avalanche have
Oh,
more
okay.
outright
Yeah. I got you. Interesting.
I mean, it's early. They're 15 games in. Some teams have 16 into an 82 game season.
That is a long season.
Yes.
It's long. And so here's why hockey's crazy. They don't play series. They play one-timers. So they'll play at home. Like, for instance, Minnesota had a 7-game away stretch. Every single day was in a different city, or every game. They're not every day, but every game was in a different city, which took them into Canada and then like through the Midwest and then down to Florida and then back up. And so it's nonstop for 82 games. You're traveling every single game. And then if you get in the playoffs, assuming you do 7-game series, you're playing 28 more games in the same way, because playoffs aren't 1-1. They're 1-1. They're not like 3 here and 2 there. You're going every single game back and forth. So that is like a fucking brutal. That's 110 games potentially that you're playing, never in the same city twice in a row, and getting the shit beat out of you, like day in and day out. These guys are monsters. The Panthers they started a little slow, but if you watch one of their games, whatever that coach says to them gets them fired up every single day. They are so intense the entire time they're playing.
That's what they did the whole year last year.
It is like, dude, oh my God. Kachuk had a fractured sternum for part of the season last year and still played. That's why, like, I see Giancarlo can't run full speed because he might.
Oh boy,
Parmesan Carlo might get graded on the base path. And then you got these NHL dudes getting stitches in their face on the bench in between their shift, and they're just going right. And
I'm just looking at like the headlines. So here's the hockey headlines. Sabres Thompson exits with lower body injury. Penn's Hayes lands on IR with upper body injury, and then the Canucks Bozer out indefinitely after illegal hit. You don't see that crap in other sports. That's pretty awesome.
No.
I like it. Oh, and we have a illegal check to the head draws a 3-game ban. Oh God, they are brutal. It is fun to watch. I have been watching it. I'm trying kind of getting there on the rules a little bit. I like, they do have some times where they play on some outdoor. I know, isn't it like once a year they do like on the outdoor rinks, and more in the winter, obviously.
The Winter Classic.
Yeah, that's pretty cool when they do that. I like watching that.
Oh yeah. Going to see him at like Soldier Field or something.
Yeah.
Would be so crazy.
That's pretty awesome, man. I mean, hockey's actually, I think it's, and I think it's a sport that for a while was just a niche sport, just kind of certain, the North, but it's grown. Obviously, there's teams all over the country now in the South and in the West. But I think it's a growing sport. Seems to be a growing sport to me, just like from the outside looking in, which is I think that's pretty cool.
Super cool. I mean, it takes it's the only sport where there is a barrier to entry. If you're fast, stick you on a soccer field, stick you in a football field. I could teach you how to half-ass catch. I could teach you how to kick a ball. If you can't not skate, it does not matter what else you can do. If you can't skate, you cannot play.
Right.
There is it's just different. No other sport is like that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's an exciting sport. It's fast moving. I'm learning it a little bit. I like the shifts and stuff, so I'm getting there. I'm gonna keep watching it, and
I think you'll like it. For the analysts are impressive because the shifts change. Are like every 45 seconds to a minute and a half. It's a new line. And the guys never miss who has the puck somehow. I don't know. And also the shit they say in hockey, like, oh, he's got some dangles. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about?
I like it. I like
they
it.
All know. Yeah. And I will tell you, the Maple Leafs, they're in second right now in the Atlantic. Maple Leafs fans have been waiting like 50 some odd years.
They've not been good forever.
Really?
Well, they're always right there. They have the team. Austin Matthews is a machine scoring goals. Nylander is a machine scoring goals. And these guys are really good, but they choke in the playoffs. They're looking good this year. They have a new coach. If the Leafs push deep into the playoffs, that honestly will be the most fun environment to watch hockey in, because Toronto has been waiting for 54 years.
Wow. That's crazy.
And they're the most rabid fans, some of the most rabid fans. So I'm actually kind of pulling for them to get deep. It's just fun to watch teams like that with a fan base like that.
That is cool.
That's why seeing what Winnipeg's doing right now is pretty impressive, because their fans are psychopaths as well.
Nuts,
Here, question for you, and you might not know, but who's more important to that Winnipeg team? I've been watching them quite a bit because they're very fun to play, right? So, do you think Kyle Connor is more important or Nikolaj Eller?
Ooh, I wouldn't even know. I haven't been watching their games.
They're both of those guys are so goddamn good.
Wait for it.
What are we waiting for?
I just remembered something. Anyway, I'll say I don't know. What the
hell was that?
I honestly don't know for the Jets. I just remembered a guy that plays for the Avalanche that Bunk would think's hilarious.
Oh.
His name is Ivan.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's pretty good too.
He's good.
God, Ivan.
That Winnipeg isn't one that was on my radar. I know the big names in hockey because I've only been really into it for like 2 years. They legitimately weren't on my radar preseason. So I don't know. I don't know what got them going. Nino Niederreiter. I'll go with him. He seems cool.
He's pretty good, man. Kyle Connor he flies, but Eller is just like, dude is like a tactician. He sees everything. He's got kind of that Connor McDavid feel on the ice where he knows exactly what's going on around him constantly, right?
Well, hey, that's like the Avs. Like that's McKinnon for the Avalanche.
Yeah.
They're all professionals, but maybe there's no other sport that you can watch and see a standout player, like just the guy like McKinnon or Connor McDavid. These guys clearly outskate everyone, clearly have better stick handling, clearly know where everybody on their team is and can make a crazy pass. And it's weird how you can see that jump in a professional sport from one player to another.
All right, Bunk. I'm putting in the chat here. I need you to read this name. I need you to tell me who this is.
In the chat.
Yes.
Kirill Kaprizov. Is that not right?
Was an easy one.
Kirill Kaprizov. We call him Cappy.
You would love it though.
We call him Cappy.
There he is.
Hey, so I got a question for you there, Big G's. Utah is now just a Utah Hockey Club.
Yep.
So here's the options for names. And I got one favorite here. So it's going to be down to the Utah Blizzard, the Utah Hockey Club, the Utah Mammoth, Utah Outlaws, Utah Venom, and Utah Yeti.
I know what you want.
Yeah, you're going to pick the Yeti.
How can you not?
Easy.
I mean, I'm thinking already, like the hat and the friggin', I mean, come on. The Yeti? You got to have a friggin' Yeti.
That would be cool, but I'd love that they're just the Utah Hockey Club.
Yes.
I actually really think that's cool.
That's where I'm at too.
God,
it
you
has
guys.
a soccer field for me.
Yeah, their
Wow.
jerseys are cool. They're Gitch. I think that's
Holy
called the Gitch.
shit. You like that? You like over the Yeti?
Yes.
Holy
I do.
shit.
The Yeti sounds like a
But-
bunch of
I'll tell you why.
Good
children
God.
named it.
Good
I'll tell you why. If you look, probably my least favorite NHL uniform is the Kraken because it looks too like modern and too trendy or something.
It's a crack.
I would hate if they did that with the Yeti. Now, if they just did like the old school, just lettering on a diagonal cross and it just said Yeti, that
Are
would be
you
badass.
kidding? I want a freaking Yeti. I want the friggin' picture of the Yeti on there.
We'll get you a Yeti.
The hell,
we'll
man?
get you a Yeti, my friend.
Well, if I'm voting, I'm Yetiing it. Friggin' Venom.
heard ya.
No Venom, no Outlaw, no Mammoth. I want the freaking Yeti.
Yeah,
Come
Mammoth
on.
would look cool. Mammoth would actually probably be a badass.
Like a
jersey.
woolly mammoth.
Yeah,
right?
it would look cool.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. I'm still going for the Yeti.
All right.
I'm buying the
I wouldn't
hat
expect you to
immediately.
go away from it.
I'm immediately buying the hat.
And I think,
All right.
you know what? I think Ovechkin,
God.
he's playing with some fire. It's crazy to see him skate, and then they zoom in him on the bench, and he just looks like a middle-aged dad at his son's baseball
He's
game.
been around a
He
long
does.
time, man.
He's a
He-
plumper.
long time.
He's just
He's-
plumping.
He still gets it done.
He's a what? A schlumper?
A
He's
plumper.
plumping. He's still plumping. That's how
Plumping?
That's how he's still playing.
Plumping?
That's why he's so
The hell is that? Oh my God, he's plumping?
You've never heard of plumping?
I mean, my brain is going to a lot of different pictures right now, sir.
I'm gonna let Pick explain that if
Plumping.
he'd like.
Holy shit. Plumping.
It's the act of using the blood of a child and injecting it into you to,
Oh
to
God.
give you some life and plump up.
Oh my
It's
God.
plumping.
Sounds like something off of Dr. Odyssey.
Oh God!
I had to just take it in here. All right. Nope.
No, broken doinkers left and right.
Yeah. They were plumping.
They were plumping.
Oh my God.
They're plumping the doinkers.
Plumping the doinker. Dunker planer.
All right.
All right.
This is the last contact sport here.
Um,
You need to segue us.
Yeah, I gotta segue us, baby.
All right.
here we go.
And we are rusty at
Oh,
this.
wrong one. That was a
wait,
clock.
hey,
Holy crap.
real-
I did a
Real
clock.
quick,
What?
before we get off hockey, did you already play your music that we can't hear?
No, I did. I hit the wrong button. I started playing a freaking clock.
Ovechkin already has 10 goals. He might do it this year.
He could do it. He could catch Gretzky this year.
Not the great one. Not the great
The
one.
great one. Yeah, he will
Okay.
be the new great one.
He's been playing a long time.
He's
Even I know him.
He's not playing forever.
He's a plumper. He's a plumper.
He is. He's 6'3", 240.
He's
He's
a
a
And
plumper.
plumber.
man,
He's plumpy.
Sid the Kid's still playing too there, Dad.
Who?
Sidney Crosby still plays.
God,
too.
I know. Those guys have been playing a long time.
20
long
years.
time.
He's been the...
And
he's
Gabby
been-
Malkin still play?
Yeah, Malkin and and Crosby are maybe the only two in NHL history with teammates with 500 or 600 goals.
Oh my God.
Something
a lot
like
of
that.
goals.
Yeah.
A lot of freaking goals. A lot of pucks hitting nets, fellas.
Pucks be flying.
Pucks be
Pucks be
flying.
flying.
We plumping.
Pucks be flying, bros. You know what I'm saying?
All right, hey,
right.
I'm going to transition this over without the clock this time. I did a little clock last time. Ready? Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. We got some different music this time. All right. All right, where are we hitting there?
He said,
gents?
hang on, you said boom, ba doom, boom, boom. We got some different music.
I hit a different button. I can't remember what the hell button I
Boom,
hit.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
It's
boom, boom, boom.
different. All right, next.
Hey, what are we going to there, Pick? Your choice. Let's wrap her up. Which one you want to wrap her up with?
We gotta say the biggest disappointment, and it's so much fun to watch this year. is those friggin' Dallas Cowboys. Now they're complaining
Oh my God.
about the sun being in their eyes. That's
know.
why they didn't catch a ball.
All right, CeeDee
They're
Lamb.
asking for curtains being put up.
Friggin'
over
CeeDee
the
Lamb
windows.
whines about every friggin' thing. I'm sick of him.
Did you hear Micah Parsons and what he said about McCarthy? Pretty much saying he hates him.
Yeah.
That team is in shambles right now.
Hey, let me tell you a team up and coming. Quarterback that looks like he's finally found his groove. When Aaron Rodgers, he blows.
Shut your
He
face.
freaking
So
blows.
bad.
God, he's suck. I will tell you,
bad.
if he does not, if I'm the Jets, I don't know what his contract is. He cannot come. He's got to go away and go to the cave or whatever the hell he does. He's done. He sucks.
They asked JJ Watt on one of the things about the cayenne water he's drinking for helping recovery. And JJ Watt said, "I really don't care about that. He should just probably be throwing touchdowns."
Yeah, yeah. I think you said it a nicer way than he did. So they absolutely blow. Dallas was horrific, man. That's God. They had, I think, 45 yards passing yesterday between two quarterbacks. What the hell? 45 yards.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a drop off like that in the NFL.
God, no.
With quarterbacks that their backups, there should not be that fucking drop off. That's outrageous.
Best play of that game is they put Trey Lance in. Trey Lance fumbles the ball, goes to tackle the guy on the sidelines, and tackles the guy into Dak Prescott.
They're a shit show, man. I got to tell you that is a really bad team. And you know what? Right next to them is the team that lost to the freaking Panthers over in Germany. The New York
Diddy Duns
Giants.
Oh, man.
And I think, you know what? They go to a bye. I think they're going to bench his ass, which they should. And bring in Jimmy Cutlets or whatever the hell his name was. The Cutlet Man.
Cutlets.
I mean, he's bad, but you know what? That whole fucking team is bad.
Oh, they're horrific.
Every part of that team is bad. There's nothing good on that team.
They're bad.
They're dead last defense in the league.
Oh, they're really
dead last.
I know.
They got to be close to dead last on offense too.
No, that's horrible. The Panthers. It was the Panthers. It was the worst offense against the worst defense, and they put them in front of a fucking crowd in Germany that was singing "Sweet Caroline."
I know
during the game.
Horrible, man.
Did you see Hockley call the penalty in German? That was the highlight.
Yeah. Wow. Those are Giants are a horrifically bad team. Dallas is, the difference. I will say this: difference between Dallas and Giants. Dallas is obviously going to have a crap year, but they won't be bad next year. The Giants are just bad all the time. I mean, they can't get better, and I don't understand why.
I know the answer.
I do. I can't understand. They make really, really bad personnel decisions. That is the reason why.
Well, okay. Well, I heard about some good personnel decisions that might be coming down the pipe because there was these rumors going around that the number one pick will be Shedeur Sanders, and guess who the new coach would be?
I heard they want him to go to Dallas. God bless him.
NFL players aren't going to fuck with that.
I heard they draft Shedeur and take Dion as the coach.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing too.
For the Giants, you'll never win another game.
No, not the Giants. I heard Dallas. I'm hearing Dallas wants. I'm hearing Dallas wants Dion as a coach.
Oh God.
Jimmy Jones could. Jimmy Jones. That's not going to friggin' work over there.
That's not work based strictly off their salary cap.
No, that's friggin'
Shedeur is not going to go to Dallas for a fucking basic NFL rookie.
Dallas has a quarterback. I mean, as much as they.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah,
they could go to the Giants, though.
I'll tell you what, though.
That's what I'm saying. The Giants, my friend.
God, they're not going to pick the Dion.
That shit gets by when guys from fucking Texas Tech are chasing you. That shit is not going to get by with monsters in the NFL. Chasing you.
But Greg, he can bring rappers to the games. He can bring celebrities. They can have like little nutsack there or whatever their freaking guys are
little
called.
Nutsack.
I don't know their names.
NFL players already live that life.
Lil nutsack.
Oh my gosh!
Who the hell is Little Nutsack?
I don't know. I don't know their names, but
You know what?
bring them.
Actually,
Not.
the best thing that would happen is if Warren Sapp were to follow him.
Oh my
That would be
God.
the best. I like Warren Sapp. That would be the best NFL coaching change is Warren Sapp coming in and coaching New York's defensive line.
Good
Because
God.
the rest of it would be a trash can.
Warren Sapp is such an upstanding citizen. We really want him somewhere. Come on.
But he's an awesome D-line coach.
Oh my God. I'm going to disagree with you, Big G. I don't like him. If he goes I will say this on here officially. If he goes to Giants, I will no longer be a Giants fan. I can suffer through lots of losses and shit, but I won't suffer through that.
You don't want to see Shedeur Sanders get sacked for
I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him, period. I don't want to see Neon Dion. I don't want to see any of those guys. Yeah, I don't want to see any of that
broke
shit.
Shedeur.
Yeah. And there's a lot. Yeah, I don't want to see any of that shit.
And not only that, NFL players are probably hoping, wishing it happens because I'm telling you right now, they would be blitzing cornerbacks to shit on that dude. Nobody in the NFL. That's a whole different. You know who? I mean, let's be honest. If you look at records, the friggin' Jets are down there in the friggin' bottom. I mean, there's some shitty teams. There's some shitty teams.
I don't know. I think the Giants are getting that number one pick, my friend.
Oh, I think they are too. I think the Giants in Dallas still have a game left. Good God, who's watching that shit? Friggin', what is it going to be, like 3-2 or something? They're bad. They're really bad teams, man.
Yeah.
If it's at Dallas, they'll still charge like $130 a ticket for that game.
Well, of course.
When can you, in recent memory or any memory, think of a time when the bottom half of the NFL was this unwatchable?
No, I can't. Mm-hmm. There are some. I mean, you're talking the Raiders, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Cleveland,
Dallas.
I mean,
New York,
Miami.
Chicago's garbage.
Oh God, Chicago. Chicago. They have not scored a touchdown in like 3 games or something. 2 games. They're bad. And they're going to look at everything, the coach said. We're looking at everything except for quarterback. Everything's on the table. I said, dude,
Eberflus came out and said he's going to reconsider who's starting at quarterback this week.
I just read that he said that he's safe. Quarterback position is safe. Well, they just spent all that money on him. He's friggin' safe. And let's be honest, the rest of him, including him, he's not safe. They're done. God.
So, hey, you know what? I think Mel Kiper said Carson Beck is looking like a QB1. Maybe he'll be a slightly skinnier Danny Dimes.
Like 13 friggin' interceptions this year. It's ridiculous.
I know. Well, you know, when they're talking about, there's a lot of quarterbacks in college coming out that they say could, you know, Jesus Christ, dude. There are not any quarterbacks coming out of college that can walk in and help an NFL team.
There's not just in general. That's not a thing.
That's not a thing. You're right.
They've been rushed into it, man. The level
Daniels
of competition. I get that.
There's a couple
one
guys.
That's one off, though.
Exactly.
That's not the norm.
They've been leaning on it for like a decade, and it
doesn't work.
It has ruined good quarterbacks' careers, or at least set them back. You know, like Mayfield set back. If he could have sat behind someone or
Cleveland.
Yeah. But they're just going to keep pumping this. And then you got the Jets. The hell are they thinking? Putting geriatric Aaron Rodgers with the 2 best running backs.
And not drafting a quarterback.
And he can't do shit. Gets the coach fired and goes into his teepee for meditation.
His teepee? No, it's cayenne water. Okay. So, yeah, so you look at like the best quarterback in the league right now is Patrick Mahomes. Who do you sit behind for a year or two? Alex Smith.
Exactly.
Right? Number 2, who's the second best quarterback in the league right now? I would probably say Josh Allen. No, I'm sorry. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. But he was a freak coming out, and he sat behind the geriatric
Flacco.
Yeah, Flacco at Indianapolis right now. I mean, these guys
that was
set
always the
behind
way they
somebody.
did it. They never did it where they threw guys in. I don't know why they do it. I mean, it's very rare. I mean, Jaden Daniels is a rarity. C.J. Stroud was a rarity. The rest of the, and I will say this, Bo Nix, they're stuck with him, and he actually looks a lot better. He looks more comfortable in that role. But that's a big transition, man. I mean, you got teams with some horrific quarterbacks. I mean, the Raiders don't have anybody. There's some bad teams, man.
Yeah,
I don't
Tennessee, Levis ain't it.
Oh,
no,
my
Levis
God.
isn't it. You know what? He might be okay, but he's another guy they just threw in there. Who knows if he's any good?
I mean, you look at those bad teams, and they're like the quarterbacks is the problem.
Yeah.
Cleveland, nobody.
Richardson at the Colts. He's
done.
He's done. I mean, and that's probably not fair to him, but I think he's done.
There's going to be in 100% real life in 5 years. There's going to be a team with Will Levis is number 3 or is number 2. Carson Beck is their number 3, and then I don't even know. So who's somebody coming out of college? It's going to be their number 1. They're going to have a total of 10 years combined NFL experience between their 3 fucking roster quarterbacks and nothing to lean on.
Yep.
Because pretty soon, I mean, Aaron Rodgers smoke signals or whatever, he's not passing shit down. So they're so if you look
he's got to be done. Please tell me he's done.
But who are the veteran guys that started, had a progression through the league? Who is left?
Well, there's not.
Rodgers.
I mean,
but Mahomes. What is Mahomes going to teach somebody though? He can teach him the game, but he's not going to be able to teach him how to play.
No,
that's what I mean.
Because he has his own.
Josh Allen, not going to be able to pass down. He'll pass down basic knowledge. Lamar. These guys are Jaden Daniels.
They're one-of-a-kind human beings.
So there is literally no quarterbacks in the league right now that played 10 years ago that can pass shit down.
There's
that
not.
used to be the way it was.
Geno Smith is probably the only one.
I forgot about Geno.
Geno is probably the only one.
And
Stafford as well.
Yeah, but who's behind Stafford? I mean, he's at the end.
Behind Stafford is the old Georgia quarterback, Stetson Bennett.
Yeah,
okay, that's a wrap. That guy's a permanent.
The steady, call him steady. I mean, their team. Look at the conference. So look at the AFC East. Buffalo's 8-2. The Jets are in second place at 3-7. I mean, Buffalo's literally won the division already. Is that friggin' crazy?
And they don't even look that awesome this year.
No, they struggle. I mean, they're 8-2, but they struggled. I'll tell you the other team that I got to tell you. I mean, I like, but the Vikings look like shit. They barely are winning. They lost 2 and they barely won.
They did not make a move for a quarterback. I thought they were going to go get Stafford. They had the capital to go get Stafford.
They are not looking good, man.
Stafford to that team, they would make a huge run. They won't now.
No, I mean, they're going to stick with them, but I mean that I got to be honest. They're not looking good. They started out great and they don't look good. And down in Atlanta, I mean, Kirk Cousins, they're 6-4 and they're in first place, but they don't look that good
for Cousins.
It's
Penix, Michael Penix Jr.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
and he is sitting. He might be learning something now from Cousins. I'll give him that.
But the problem is he's 27 already.
Well, you know.
Also. That's coaching staff clearly has something wrong with their fucking heads, because how are you splitting time between Algiers and Bijan the way they are? And then they're running Bijan in these bullshit stretch runs at very obvious run. It's pretty weird. They're not using their talent down there.
Bijan's bread and butter at Texas is up the middle and making people miss between the tackles.
Yeah.
They're just not running that. I get it. It's the defensive tackles are all the best right? So you kind of run away from them, but still they need a power running game, and it's not Algiers.
No. It reminds me Saquon is an app. I mean, he's always been really good, even when he was with the trashy Giants, had no O-line. But the move, he goes to Philly, and
he's a monster in Philly.
He has a little bit of room, and he can get it done.
Yeah.
Bijan's going to unfortunately have to wait that 4 years, 5 years, move on, and hopefully find that, because That sucks, dude. It sucks for guys like that.
I'll tell you who's surprised. I watched the game. The Cardinals, and Kyler Murray is playing really good ball, and the Cardinals have a good D. They actually look pretty good. And San Francisco does not look very good.
No,
The Rams
they don't.
not very good. And I thought Seattle was going to do something. They're not. None of them are out of it. Obviously, they're all close. But Seattle, they've lost. I mean, the hell, they started out good, but they're not doing that well right now. They've lost 2 in a row. So
All right, Bunk question for you. Let's talk about like the positives and go to the other side of this, right? Who would you take on a neutral field if it was played today? Kansas City against Detroit. Those are the clear-cut best 2 teams.
I
in
would
the
take
NFL
Detroit.
right now.
I would take Detroit right now. I think
Yeah,
Detroit's.
their defense
I think
is
they're
so
a more
good.
physical team. So that would be mine.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think it would be very good. Kansas City defense is quietly
They're
top
good.
3 in the league this year.
They're
They
good.
were
amazing
last
this
year too. Yeah.
Steve
I think
Spagnuolo not
Detroit's
taking
good.
a head coaching job and just saying, you know what, I'm okay just doing this was the smartest decision he could have ever made.
Yeah.
He's making himself so much more money. Their defense is really good.
Yep, I agree.
Very good. And now that they got DeAndre Hopkins, their passing game it changed quite a bit these past few weeks. Hopkins, that dude, how is he so open all the time? He's so friggin' wide open every play. I don't get how he gets that open every time.
He's been like that his entire career, and he
I
had
know.
the worst quarterbacks ever throwing to him.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Imagine if that guy had a decent quarterback for the past 12 years or however long he's been in the
Yeah.
league. He's amazing.
He had Deshaun, then he had Kyler, then he had Levis. That's horrible.
Yeah. But I will say this
massager.
about Detroit. So Detroit played a really bad game yesterday, and they still won. So I would give it to Detroit. I mean, honestly, they're both on about the same plane, though. Because Kansas City's had some shitty games, and they've been winning too. They're clearly the 2 best teams. I'd like to say I like Buffy, but man, Buffalo's just – they're going to get in the playoffs. They'll do okay. They just don't – they can't – I don't know. They just don't dominate like they should against teams they should dominate against.
I was surprised the fall off just when there's like a couple of games where Shakir was out with an injury, how bad that affected their offense, because he's always open underneath. Allen could always hit him on those short crossing routes.
Mm-hmm.
And those 3 games where he was out, it was no passing game. Like they could just key on everyone else.
Yeah.
Pretty weird.
Gotcha.
So here's the thing. If you look at run differential, Buffalo's actually got the 2nd best run differential in the league this year at 97, behind Detroit. Kansas City is really – their run differential is quite low at plus 58 for a team that's undefeated.
Right.
So I look at that, and it tells me that, I mean, they're not scoring as much this year because their defense is very good. They're not giving up a ton. So they're not scoring quite as much this year. Buffalo is scoring a shit ton this year. I mean, they have 290 points already on the season.
They are, but the deal with Buffalo, they wait until the second half to do anything.
Yeah, that's true.
They're scary to watch. If you're like a real fan, I mean, I wouldn't like it. You feel like they could lose to anybody, but then they turn it on in the second half. So they're a great team, obviously. The Steelers are looking good. Ravens
Baltimore's
look
looking
good.
really good.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good teams, but there is a huge gap between the good and the bad. There's some shit teams out there.
Where you at on Lamar now, Bunk? Come on.
He's my fantasy quarterback, making me a lot of points at the fantasy world.
He is an absolute beast.
Not saying
He's
that
very
yet.
good.
Nope.
Come on.
Nope.
So good.
All right.
Not
I
giving it
love
up.
watching him play.
All right. He won't do it.
All right.
Oh, my God. All right, Bunk.
What?
I had something in my brain just now. I can't remember what I was going to say at your face.
Wow. Okay.
I can't remember it now.
Beautiful.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
All right.
Let's wrap it up.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Sorry about the 2-week hiatus, but life happens. But we're happy to be back here. Thank you so much, Big G. Anything you want to plug? Anything you're looking forward to this week, sports wise, before we head out?
No, I'm just kind of in that weird zone right now, waiting to see what happens with college football. Hockey is really just getting started, so we won't know much for a couple months. But ba-doom, 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 ba-doom. More transition music.
Or as I
hear
like
what
to
the actual
say,
song is.
oh no!
Oh my, what is he doing? What the hell just happened again? All right, Punk. What are you looking forward to sports-wise this week? Anything coming down the pipe you're looking forward to?
I am looking forward to the big boxing match between Michael Tyson and whoever the hell that other dude is that does
Jake
Pokemon
Paul.
around his neck and shit. That guy.
We'll have to
Pokey
see.
face.
Talk about that next week.
Yep, I am looking forward to that. I'm not. I used to be a big boxing guy. I don't follow any of that crap anymore, but I am going to be watching that Friday. That college football, NFL. I mean, there's a lot of good sports going on. NBA, starting to watch NBA a little bit too. So there's a lot going on right now. So I'm kind of liking it.
Very good. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to Texas' game at Fayetteville. They're going to Fayetteville to play Arkansas. And the saying is that Arkansas fans hate Texas more than they actually like their own team. So it's going to be extremely hostile. So that'll be a really fun game.
It'll be a fun
watch,
game.
for sure. So looking forward to that, as well as kind of, the NFL picture is kind of clearing itself out now. So we kind of see what's going on there.
Yep.
In the start of college basketball, Texas has an amazing freshman guard this year who already broke Durant's freshman scoring record in a game. So some really promising things there. I just don't trust maybe the coaching staff to get it done, but we'll see how it goes. And shout out to Texas women's soccer. Wins the first SEC title for Texas.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
They won it this past weekend by beating, I think they beat Mississippi State or
Oh,
something,
wow.
but they won it.
Very nice.
They won, and they're going on to the national championship. So
Beautiful. I like
really
it.
exciting stuff there. If you guys are enjoying the podcast, definitely go onto the social medias, the different social medias, and
Follow them.
check those out for us. As well as send in a question if you want to the Bunk Pick Podcast at gmail.com. Yeah, if nothing else, Bunk, what are we doing?
Let's take it home, boys. We'll be rolling balls. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Bow, ba-dow.
All right, bye.